Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on Toned In Entertainment, where we love pop culture. Now, growing up in the 1980s, was there a more dominant company than Nintendo? For many of us, our childhood was consumed by pressing down on the extremely basic thumb pad, all the while mashing down on those A and B buttons in hopes of passing a level without having to restart it from the beginning. In fact, I believe in 2020, some of the best games ever were on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And one of those games that still holds up even to this day is Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, Nintendo used quite a different approach to market this game. There was actually a movie created to get the hype out there, and if you wanted to see your first glimpse of Super Mario Bros. 3, you had to go to the movie theater and see today's guilty pleasure movie review, The Wizard. The movie stars Fred Savage as Corey Woods, Luke Edwards as Jimmy Woods, aka our Wizard, Christian Slater as Nick Woods, Jenny Lewis as Haley, Jackie Vincent as Lucas, and Sean Bridges as Sam Woods. The plot of this movie is kind of all over the place, to be perfectly honest. The trailers and the commercials would have you believing that this movie was about these kids competing in all these video game competitions, all while leading up to that big reveal, that big tournament of Super Mario Bros. 3. And while there are plenty of video game scenes in this movie, the real premise and the plot of this movie revolves around the family conflict and the kids trying to figure out a way to make it to California. Now, the story revolves around young Jimmy Woods, who's been known to pick up his little lunchbox and just essentially run away from home, trying to make it to his destination of California. Now, Corey, played by Fred Savage here, is having some turmoil at his house again, and he's kind of fed up, and he's upset that they've actually put Jimmy in a home when he doesn't think that Jimmy should be placed in a home. So Corey decides to break him out, and guess where they're going to? California. Now, while on the run, Corey sits Jimmy in front of an arcade cabinet where he incredibly scores a 50,000 points on Double Dragon. I don't know if that's something that's ever been done, but little Jimmy Woods has done it. Now, in the background, Haley sees these kids and they see that they're kind of on the run from the cops, and she approaches them, and now the duo becomes a trio. While on the run, Haley realizes just how naturally talented young Jimmy is at playing these Nintendo games. She actually gets an idea. She grabs a Nintendo Power magazine, she throws it on the table, and she tells Corey that if she can get them to this big video game tournament, there's a huge prize, and she thinks Jimmy can take the winnings, and if he does, they will split the profit 50-50. And of course, do you know where this video game competition is taking place? If you say California, you're right again. Now we get to meet Jimmy Woods' nemesis here, Lucas, who's not just good at some video games, but he's actually mastered all 97 of them. He invites him into the house for a little friendly competition. Oh, look here, we get our product placement of the Nintendo Power Glove, just one of the product placements here in this movie, and we all begged our parents for this, but any of us who had this device back in the 80s, we came to realize it wasn't all it was coked up to be. Now, Lucas dominates this game with the use of the Power Glove, and Jimmy really doesn't want any part of this competition that Haley and Corey are trying to get him involved in, and actually just leaves the room. Now, Lucas, when he's done, he turns around, he shows off his Power Glove, and he says, "Oh, it's so bad." And Corey tells Lucas, "Hey, you know what? You should keep your Power Gloves to yourself." Now, if you Google the actor who played Lucas here, Jackie Vincent, maybe he should have really heeded this advice. Now, just because Jimmy had one defeat doesn't mean he's going to give up. Corey, Haley, and Jimmy go on to travel across the country, still making their way to California, calling the Nintendo Power Hotline. Yeah, there was no YouTube back in the day. We actually had to call a hotline for like $1.99 a minute in order for us to beat the game, and that's kind of what they're advertising here. But along the way, it's a lot of fun, and the kids do play some video games, which was what we all wanted to see, and they actually do it in some pretty interesting locations, like a casino as well. Now, you might be asking yourself, where are the parents? Why aren't they chasing the kids down? Well, they've hired this guy, Mr. Putnam, to track them down, and he's going across the country looking for these kids in local arcades and anywhere that he thinks these kids might be hiding out. But I gotta take a look at this. I mean, this is one of the most awkward scenes, I think, in the entire movie. As you can see right here, this guy in this blue bathing suit. I mean, what did this guy do? Win a bet that said that, hey, if I win this bet, I can be in any movie wearing this blue Speedo. Why is this old man in this Speedo? It still perplexes me even to this day. Now our trio finally makes it to the big video game competition, which is being held at Universal Studios in Hollywood, California. And the first game up for Jimmy is Ninja Gaiden High. And after this scene, if you look closely, there's a run-in with the Team Wizard, as I like to call them, and Lucas and his boys. And if you look closely at Lucas's gang, you'll see a young Spider-Man in that scene. Now the entire movie, Jimmy keeps saying California. He really wants to go to California. He doesn't want to quit at any time and give up. He really is determined to get to California, and there will be a payoff as we find the location in California he wants to go to, as well as the reason why little Jimmy has been so determined to get there. Going out to the store right now probably isn't the best option to go pick up this movie, and it's not on Netflix or Amazon Prime either. However, it is available on YouTube for $3.99 to rent or $14.99 to own. Alright guys, well that's The Wizard. I mean, the plot is all over the place. I mean, 3 kids hitchhiking across the country to play Nintendo games. Nobody would ever recommend that, but it was the late 80s and just stuff was weird in the late 80s, and The Wizard itself is weird. There's a lot of contradicting things in this movie, but at the end of the day, I don't know, I was a kid of the 80s. I grew up with Nintendo, so seeing them play games like Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Turtles and Super Mario Bros. 3, it just was a lot of fun. Now, if you guys ever seen the movie The Wizard, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought. And guys, of course, make sure you subscribe here to Toned In Entertainment for future videos.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.